something very strange has happened. I don't really know how. I've been spending a lot of time over by the iron farm recently. These guys seem to be, there's a lot of them, and they're all just packed into here. I don't get it. Oh, well, I'm a total moron. So, my minecart system... The minecart system that I built in the previous episode of Hermitcraft, all of the villagers in there were adults, okay? So I was like, well, I can just leave a block gap in the glass and then have the minecart track run down. Baby villagers, obviously, they don't they're not going to worry about the one block gap. So they run down, and clearly a lot of them have run all the way through here, all the way up onto this side, and now made it into there. Now, the reason that this thing is blocked off is because I feel like I might be able to make use of them. If I can pick these guys up by boat, yes, I can then transport them potentially across into this area here. Somehow break the boat and get them on top of the minecart rail, and then put them into minecarts and convert them into toolsmiths. You see, I was reading the comments in the previous episode. Apparently toolsmiths are guaranteed. They're guaranteed an iron trade, and also these early trades aren't as expensive. So I am going to do a super fast villager conversion session, because we need to get loads and loads of emeralds. And when I say super fast, I mean super fast. Not super fast for me. For me, it took around about 2 hours, but for you guys, it's going to take about 20 seconds. I did a bunch of villager stuff in the previous episode, and it's definitely not my plan for today's episode. I just logged in and saw those guys chilling there, and I thought, well, I have to do something about this. I have to sort out this situation, and I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who told me about the toolsmiths, because that is a 100% hit rate. Now, every single villager we get is an iron trader, which is brilliant. I mean, look at these guys all lined up, ready to do some trading. I can't wait to see this thing fully filled in with all the villagers. But of course, all of them are one iron emerald trade, so I've just been going through, I've been gathering up a bunch of emeralds, and so far, this is what I've got. So I managed to get 4 stacks of emerald blocks just by cruising through as I was doing the villager bit. Anyway, that's enough villager bits. Let's head over to the industrial district. Holy mackerel. That is really, really cool. So, I mean, I'm a strange Minecraft player. I leave certain things to the last minute. I haven't set myself up with a portal yet. I still just use Iscals and then fly over to my industrial district. But I'm quite glad that I do that, because this looks wicked. That is absolutely mega. Which means I'm really going to have to up my game for my own personal industrial district. I mean, look how pathetic it's looking right now. All I've got is templates and things and signs saying where the farms are going to be going. And on the topic of that, yeah, I think in this episode I want to work on the sugarcane farm. Why a sugarcane farm, I hear you ask? Well, in the background you can see the top of Iscal's creeper head. He's working on a creeper farm. You know, we might be able to, you know, get a little rocket system set up. Another, 12 bamboo deal kind of thing. 12 sugarcane deal. This project is going to require a decent number of resources. The first part that we need to do is we need to build up all of the minecart rails. Now, the good thing is they're not going to be visible, so we can kind of use any block. But I think just for my own brain, we're going to make use of stone bricks. Simply because it's easy to make a ton of them and they don't look awful. Now, these minecart tracks are going to run pretty much the full length of the industrial district. They're going to go right the way to the end, and that's where our item depositing system is going to go. And I guess that will be the same for all 3 of these strip farms. They'll all run into a water stream over there, which will then feed into the storage system. So with the actual slabs in place, I'm now in the process of placing in all of the minecart rails. And that's going quite nicely. Now, if you're confused as to what on earth I'm actually doing here, I should probably explain. So on top of these minecart rails right here, we're going to have minecart hoppers that are going to be traveling back and forth. On top of these minecart rails, we're then going to have the sand, and that is where the sugarcane is going to be going. We're going to have flying machines that harvest all of the sugarcane. That then lands on the sand. Minecart hoppers pick it up and drop it out into the water streams that are going to be off in this area. Hopefully, all of that makes sense. Now, I do just want to point out that this is one layer of the farm. I think I'm going to have this be a 2-layer sugarcane farm, so there's going to be another one of these up on top. Why, I hear you ask? Honestly, I'm not sure. I just think it will look cool. I just want to clarify something, okay? I am going to use sand for where the sugarcane grows. Again, I want the sugarcane to be growing on sand, but it's not because sugarcane grows faster on sand. No matter, that is the oldest myth in Minecraft. It's probably the original Minecraft myth. Okay, and it's not true. The sugarcane grows at exactly the same speed on dirt as it does on sand. The only reason why I'm using sand is because it looks a lot cooler. It's a much nicer looking block than dirt. I'd far rather have all of my sugarcane on sand just because it's better to look at. I can't help but notice there's a handful of red belts on the server now. Iscal's got a red belt and it looks horrendous. It's in his eyeball. Zombie Cleo now has a red belt. I almost feel a bit silly with my yellow belt. This build uses a lot more sand than I was expecting. We haven't even done the full first layer yet and I've completely run out, so I thought I'd pop over to the mining desert. But I gotta say, now that it's all in place, it does look very, very cool. It's good to see some building going on in this area here, and I can't wait to see how it looks once this thing has 2 layers and is fully decorated and is covered in sugarcane and has flying machines at the end. Oh, it's just gonna look so cool. 5 stacks of stackable water for me, please. And yes, before anyone comments it, my shoes are off. I was very close to being rebellious and not following the orders of this sign, but I just couldn't help myself. Oh, there's another type of comment that I need to address. I'm sure there's going to be a handful of people telling me that I should have just built a 0-tick sugarcane farm that is the size of a pea. And that's fine, you know, because they are absolutely tiny and they produce a whole ton of sugarcane, but in Minecraft 1.16, they have removed 0-tick sugarcane farms. And look, okay, I'm going to say something controversial here, but I think that's fair. They were a little bit overpowered. So, we have our sand in place, we have our water in place, we have our leaves in place, which are going to stop the sugarcane from dropping down into the water streams. We've got all of our minecart rails in place, and I have a flying machine in place, which is going to be chopping down all of our sugarcane. Let's see if it actually works. I'm hitting the button. How do I always build these wrong? How do I always build these wrong? Oh goodness. I build walking houses and gigantic transforming rooms out of slimeblock flying machines, but the simplest ones I can't do. There is the culprit. I had a little slab stuck to the bottom of this thing right now. Now it works. I was going to say, there's no way that was wrong. I've been scratching my head trying to work out. Okay, so this is our sweeper. This is going to take out all of the sugarcane. Gradually, it's going to make its way to the end. And then I've just built up a system that actually returns it. So this thing is now pretty much ready to go. It is currently button activated, but this thing is ready for sugarcane, apart from, actually, now that I think about it, the item droppers and the water stream system. I mean, is that something that we're going to leave for a little while? I guess now that I think about it, I can't really build up the item transportation systems and things like that until we actually get a storage system in the middle of this thing. It would be totally pointless me connecting this thing up into that square there, because then we're just going to end up with a pile of sugarcane on the floor that's going to cause an enormous amount of lag for the server. I guess. Okay, I'll finish building up this farm, and then we can work something out. I will be the first person to admit that I've done this in a terrible order that doesn't make any sense, but still, we're going to end up with a cool sugarcane farm. And who knows, instead of doing like a large-scale water stream system and everything like that, we could just run all of the drops into like a single chest for the time being. I think that might be the move. Anyway, now it is time for me to start on layer number 2. So this is the second set of 4 strips for this sugarcane farm. That means we're going to have 8 strips in total. They're all 2 blocks wide, and I think this is around about 110 blocks long. Could somebody do the maths on how much sugarcane this should give on a full harvest when all of the sugarcane has grown 2 blocks high? We're harvesting 2 per piece of sugarcane. I'd be interested to know. It's probably far more than I'm ever going to need. Let's be honest. Now that I think about it, this is starting to look incredibly cool. It is starting to look incredibly cool. Look at that. Oh, it's looking industrial. Progress is coming along really nicely, but I just got a message from Xisuma Void asking me about my mayoral campaign.
Mr. Mumbo Jumbo, the candidate himself.
Hello, how's it going?
Hi, I'm a reporter now.
I've noticed that you have, yeah, your suit is looking, it's serious business. Yeah, very, very fancy.
I'm doing some serious journalism for the Hermitcraft Herald. So I thank you for coming over here.
No problem, no problem.
Yeah, I would like to ask you some questions so we can clarify your position in the Hermitcraft Herald. This can be, your opportunity to get your word out there to all the constituents of the Hermitcraft server. What do you plan to do if you become mayor?
What do I plan to do if I become mayor? Honestly, I haven't thought that far. I haven't thought that far ahead. I only found out I was becoming mayor like a couple days ago.
What do you plan on being mayor of?
I guess I plan on being mayor of all of Hermitcraft and all of... I guess I could be mayor of the Hermitcraft server and all related servers. And yeah, I mean, is that right? Would I be mayor of that much? Or am I only the mayor of one house? I don't know. Mayor of everything.
And what made you want to run for mayor in the first place?
I guess it would just be the posters that were put up about me being mayor. I mean, honestly, I didn't even know that we were planning on having a mayor, but I guess if there's posters everywhere, I might as well run for mayor. So now I'm running for mayor.
What do you eat your cereal with?
A spoon.
Ah, wise choice. Stops your hands from getting messy. I should really try that.
Yeah, it seems like if I was mayor, okay, then everyone would be eating their cereals with spoons. That's one thing that I can promise.
So your campaign can promise spoons for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they have to pay for them, but...
I like the sound of this. And is there anything you'd like to say to our audience?
Okay, so I may not have realised that I was running for mayor, and I may not have any plan as to what I'm going to do when I'm mayor, and I don't even know what I'm being mayor of, but I still think I'm the right person for the job, so you should definitely vote for me. Well, I mean, did that go well? I think maybe that went well, or it could have gone really badly. Honestly, I'm still not sure. As you can probably tell from the interview, I'm still not entirely certain what the mayor actually is responsible for or doing. I mean, I've seen the town hall, it looks very exciting. I don't know if there's any other candidates. Am I the only candidate? I don't know. All I do know is I found out that Green is responsible for the posters. And I'll have to have a chat with him. I'll have to ask what's up. Anyway, the shell has been completed. This is kind of the area where the rails will go and the water will go and then the sand will sit right where my face is right now. So let's get to work on building that. And once again, progress is coming along pretty nicely. Everything is looking good. I had a little bit of a hiccup with where the droppers are, because I was trying to work out that situation, but I think there'll be a water stream here, and then the other droppers will be down underneath, so there'll be two separate water streams, but that is all the rails completed. I'm starting to get so fast at placing this sand, but it is making my head hurt a little bit. I'd say one thing that I often do when I run out of resources, instead of going out and gathering extra resources, I would rather spend far more time just searching through the various different chests that I have dotted around, seeing if I have any more of the thing that I need. I need more sand. Do I really only have 18 sand? Occasionally though, and annoyingly, it does actually sometimes pay off. I think that's enough to finish this up. And there it is. Looking rather fantastic, if I do say so myself. It has everything apart from, well, the flying machine and also the sugarcane. The sugarcane is one element that definitely seems to be missing from both layers of this design right here. So I guess, I mean, surely there's someone on the server who has a lot of sugarcane that we can borrow to actually fill our sugarcane farm. I guess we'll find that out tomorrow, because for now I'm going to go AFK overnight at my iron farm slash villager breeder area, so hopefully I can get a few more guys ready for our emerald generator. One night later, I've popped back onto the server this morning. I have a bunch more iron, but also I have a bunch more villagers, so I've put a lot of them actually into the system. I've queued them up and things, and we have one more space. And there is a baby villager over there in the area. So I feel like we should transport him over, wait for him to grow up, and then get him in there. There is something so satisfying about just going down the line, just chucking iron into these guys and getting tons upon tons of emeralds. It's fantastic. There we go. We have reached full capacity on one side of our emerald generator, which means I guess at some point we're going to have to build up the other side of the emerald generator. I don't know if I'm actually going to go for iron on that side. I might actually do farmers, just so I can get loads and loads of golden carrots. If I had 24 of them, I get 3 golden carrots per emerald, and I can do 24 trades per day. Then I could get 1,728 golden carrots per day, or 27 stacks. I mean, that might be helpful. I don't know what the going rate for golden carrots is currently in the shopping district, but I mean, I'm sure I could do some killer deals there. Anyway, I've built up the next flying machine on the top level, so that is now working. We've got our sweeper in place. So now we have both sides are completely done. I guess let's just start chucking the sugarcane in and see what happens. This is going to be a bit of a long process. So I'm having to farm the sugarcane to get the sugarcane from my farm, but my zero tick farm that I've built it's a little bit bootleg. I think I built this on episode 0, and well, yeah, I was at that little machine for 2 Minecraft days, And this is the amount of sugarcane that I got. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the water streams and the collection system and things like that. And then hopefully I can just harvest this thing a bunch and eventually fill it up with its own drops. That seems like the most faithful way to do it anyway. Imagine if you were a sugarcane farm and you were being filled up by another sugarcane farm. It's almost like cheating. Right, let's hit this button right here and we should see now... Okay. I kind of thought that would work, but I'm not surprised that it didn't. The pulse is way too short to actually send our minecarts off. Let's see if it works better now. Hopefully, these minecarts should be sent off. These will be picking up all the items. Here we go. There it is. Alright, okay, that's fantastic. So now with this redstone line, I've connected up both sides. So now we have a flying machine down at the bottom, flying machine up at the top, and all of the minecarts all connected up. And that sounded and looked pretty good. Let me have a look at the top here. Nope, there's no minecarts that are left. So all of the minecarts have gone off and the flying machines have gone off. This is good. That basically means the system is actually working and is functioning properly. Oh dear. So I haven't lit up the bottom layer yet. This sweeper is bringing with it, well, let's just say... Oh no! I really hope they don't blow that thing up. Because that would be such bad news. Right, thankfully they didn't. Next stage of the process is building up the auto droppers, which are going to be transporting the items into our storage system. Now we have 8 of these things to deal with the ridiculous number of sugarcane that are going to flow into this thing at once. Because obviously this is like a bulk harvest system. So in theory, all of the minecarts will be completely filled. So 5 stacks per minecart, that's like 10 stacks per dropper. And there's 8 sets of droppers. I mean, it's going to be a lot of sugarcane. I'm hoping for now this little temporary storage system should be enough to cope with the load, and obviously the items are going to have to run over the top of multiple hoppers here because the items flowing in are going to be way too fast for just a single hopper to handle. So we're going to have quite a few of them, and then I guess I'll connect this top one also into this system. Maybe run it around the back and then in through there. I think actually dropping it in through the side should hopefully work. Now all I'm thinking right now is if I have forgotten to place a block somewhere, we are going to get a horrendous leakage that is going to break everything. But it looks like this is all good. And then I'm guessing if I place in a slab here or something like that, all items should now flow down that chamber, and I just need a water stream down at the bottom there. Having done all of the item transportation work, this thing is starting to look pretty monstrous, isn't it? I love redstone contraptions that look like this. These are like old school redstone contraption farming systems and things like that. We've got water streams, we've got droppers, we've got redstone torch towers, the whole lot. And if I hit this button right here... Okay, that looks good. So let's see if everything is happening. Both flying machines are currently flying. One of them is chopping down all the sugarcane in there. We should also see some minecarts moving. Yes, 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 yes. That is fantastic news. That is absolutely excellent. The minecarts have almost made their way home. So this is where we start to see things being dropped out. How come the reason that then... I was about to say something stupid then, but I stopped myself. Okay? I stopped myself. The reason those droppers aren't firing is obviously because there's no actual sugarcane placed on those layers at this point in time. Our flying machine has almost made it home, and that is important news because that means that this is kind of like the big one. Okay, this is where most of the items get picked up, but also that will have pushed all of the sugarcane that was on the edge into the system too. So this should now start filling up. And once again, you have to remember, this is with only one strip of the 8 in place, and already it is firing out a bunch. So, over the next couple of days, I'm going to be AFKing at this thing, gathering up a whole bunch of sugarcane. I'm obviously going to get all of the strips filled in and everything like that, and get everything fully functional there. And then eventually we will decorate this so it looks a tiny bit less industrial and looks a tiny bit cooler. I mean, it will still look industrial, but right now these are like, this is ultimate don't care how it looks build, and this industrial district is meant to have some form of style to it. So I'm looking forward to adding that. But anyway, I really do hope that you've enjoyed this Hermitcraft episode, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya. I gotta say, it is fun being back building farms. This Hermitcraft season so far has had zero farms, really. I can't think of... I mean, other than the tiny ones that I've built on my base, I haven't really built any large-scale farms, and that is so out of the ordinary for me. I'm like a farm lover. So it's nice to be back in business in that department.